Hello. Well, hello, James. Hey, Joe Mama. And aloha, Robert. You were in a waiting room. I don't know. This is the first time. Um, hey, Bill. I don't know. This is the first time that I scheduled a broadcast. So I don't know what the waiting room thing is. You have to tell me. So much today. Hey, Pennsylvania Prepper. I Whenever I type that, it always comes out pepper, which I mean I like peppers, so that's not bad, but I could just imagine saying Pennsylvania Prepper over and over and just totally messing myself up. Thank you for coming. I can I can actually hear you saying that, Bill. Okay, so I'm going to jump in on a couple of things that I wasn't planning on talking about, but I ran across them. So, first things first. I don't know if I'm going to actually show you this or not. Depends on how much I want to switch back and forth on my screens. But actually, I will. I'll show you. I'll go ahead and show you this. Actually, I'm not sure if that's going to do what I want it to. Okay, actually, I'm not going to share it because I'm not sure it's going to do what I want it to do. So anyway, I was on Twitter because of Trump's tweet, and I saw this other tweet that was by Representative Jim Jordan. He said, "First, we learned that Durham's probe is now a criminal investigation. Now we hear that the FBI may have altered the 302s from General Flynn's interview." Um, well, okay, so there's a couple of things in that. Number one, if you don't know what a 302 is, really it is when the FBI interviews someone and they take notes, and then after the interview, it could be, within hours, it could be the next day, it could be the next month, they type up something, a paragraph, 20 pages, whatever, that kind of summarizes what the person said in their interview. Okay. So it's not a direct, um, it's not a direct transcript or anything. So um, there's a space to list the name of the agent, the date of the interview, the name of the interviewee, and place of the interview, things like that, and then kind of the memo. Okay. It's funny because Jim Jordan, who I really like, is tweeting out about this. This was from yesterday. Excuse me. Hey, Sandra Ann. Um, I caught your show earlier. Um, wanted to say, but anyway, so there was, so he like I said, I like Jim Jordan, and he tweeted this out yesterday. But it's really interesting because um, he's saying, "Hey, now we hear that the FBI may have altered." Right. Meanwhile, The Hill back in December, I think. What was this? December 26th of 18. There was a whole article written by Kevin R. Brock regarding the 302 from Flynn's interview. And he said that there are multiple oddities with it. Um, so, uh, so anyway, I won't go into that because it really will take too long considering everything else I had planned. But you may look that up because thehill.com was talking about it back in December. And then, of course, we have Trump's tweet tonight saying something big had happened. He has an announcement coming out tomorrow at, I think they said 9 a.m. Eastern time, which is O dark 30 my time and O heavens my time. Um, that's what that, sorry, I'm having to bounce on. That's what that translates to. Okay, so I just want to make sure I'm not getting not too far behind. That's funny, Pennsylvania prepper. Okay, so what they're saying is that they believe that the head of ISIS was captured. Um, so I mean, that's what we're hearing. I guess, wait for confirmation for tomorrow. But just kind of FYI if you had not heard that. Okay, so there's that. Oh my goodness. I did not even do that on purpose. Okay, I did not do that one on purpose. But I caught myself. So moving on. Yeah, Robert, that's what that was. So we'll see, for sure. I mean, that's what everybody believes it was. But again, he's making an announcement tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern. Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about tonight. I wanted to talk a little bit about racism. That's an uplifting Saturday night discussion, right? And I will mention YouTube, the YouTube deadline. So, I'm going live, but as of January 1st, you won't be able to go YouTube. You won't be able to go live until oh my goodness, yeah, until you have 1,000 subscribers. So that's fun. So if you have people that do live, like the Bill Show and Robert Wallace that we know, Sandra Ann has a show that she's doing. I know KK, but if you do have people that you like their live shows and they don't have 1,000 subscribers, then in whatever way you can, you may want to help them get there by January 1st, because that won't be happening. I don't think so, Bill. I'm pretty sure that is the new one for a computer, if I'm not mistaken, because I believe it was already instituted on the phone or on a other device. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but okay. So I was going to start by reading a poem called Liberty for All by William Garrison. Okay. William Lloyd Garrison was a man in the 1800s who started a paper called, or a publication called The Liberator. When he was trying to, he was working on the fight to abolish slavery. So this is a poem he put in his paper. They tell me, liberty, that in thy name I may not plead for all the human race, that some are born to bondage and disgrace, some to a heritage of woe and shame, and some to power supreme and glorious fame. With my whole soul I spurn the doctrine base, and as an equal brotherhood embrace all people, and for all fair freedom claim. Know this, O man, whate'er thy earthly fate, God never made a tyrant nor a slave. Woe then to those who dare to desecrate his glorious image, for to all he gave eternal rights which none may violate, and by a mighty hand the oppressed he yet shall save. Okay, so I just really like that poem. He where he talks about the fact that really he's saying, some people tell me to stop this fight, right? Stop fighting for this because some people were just born to woe and shame, to a heritage of woe and shame. Some were born to power supreme and glorious fame. And he references an equal brotherhood. He references the eternal rights that God gave, right? And that God never made a tyrant or a slave. So here's the thing. I am, feel free to disagree. Just do it respectfully, please. But here's my thing. I do believe that racism exists. Okay. I do believe that racism exists. However, I do not see it in the same light that we seem to hear a lot about today. Like that poem, I believe that we are, we are God's creation, all of us, whatever color or gender that we come in, and I'm, male or female gender. I believe that if you're a jerk, it doesn't matter what color you are. A jerk can come in any color. I believe that someone who is kind can also come in any color. And so I also, so for me, I was raised as a military brat, and the military is extremely diverse. So for me, it was never an issue. It was, Bill saying all shapes and sizes. Yeah, I mean, I was surrounded by everybody. And so for me, I never saw color. I always saw the person. And, I believe well, I mean, that's what Martin Luther King Jr. was talking about, right? Um, um, and unfortunately, I think that we've come really far away from that. and even in an opposite direction. I think that, um, I've talked a lot lately about the separation and the segmenting of our society, and um, and I believe we're doing the same thing with color, with race, with culture. Um, Bill asked me a while ago what my background or heritage or however he said it was, um, and I said, "Well, I don't know." He's like, "What do you mean you don't know?" Like, I don't know. I know that I have documents about it. I know that my grandmother has looked into it. Um, but honestly, when she gave us that information, I I said, "Oh, okay, great, thanks." I mean, love the fact that she did this, and she was excited about that and all of that. But for me, I don't care. I mean, for me, I've always been, um, I've always just valued the fact that I'm an American, and whatever um, is behind that, I just don't care. Now, that doesn't mean that everyone doesn't have to care, right? Um, but we've come to this place where it is so much an identifier. Um, and we're segmenting ourselves so much. And that was never what Martin Luther King Jr. intended. That's not what people say that they want. Um, they just want to be known as people. Um, but we have just focused so much on the issues. I think we just need to back up, and I think we need to treat people like people. We talked about respect before. I think that, again, for me, everybody, I will show respect to everyone because that's who I am, and I believe that that's what I need to do. Um, and that's not going to be based on color. Um, I also, we can talk about racism, but within that, there's racism, discrimination against those who are Caucasian as well. So, to, there's, again, there's going to be racism. People are jerks. Okay. But racism and systematic racism are two different things. And, and again, yes, there's going to be racism, but there's also going to be, you know, people who abuse their children or people who abuse their wives. It's not right, right? But it's not saying that everyone who is a father or who is a husband or who is a whatever is going to do that. So um, so again, my feeling is we just have to really stop focusing on color. Stop. Hey, Red Pill Marine. Um, you had me thinking on some stuff the other day. Um, we have we've got to just back up and stop focusing on color because it it increases the hate between races, which is just really stupid. So, um, okay, hold on. Um, I'm going to try to catch up with you guys really quickly before I continue. Yeah, Bill is saying, always saw the person, myself still do. Yeah, I mean, again, jerks come in every color. Um, sweet people come in every color. Giving people come in every color. Criminals come in every color. You can dive into that a little bit more, right? There are some other factors that go into that, but it's just the case. Let's look at each person as is. And again, even those who, I guess the problem today are those who are fighting for something that, in my opinion, does not exist in the way it's presented. Like I said, there isn't systematic racism. All white people aren't racist, you know. Um, and unfortunately, some people are being raised to believe that. And it's actually creating a culture where it's okay to discriminate against whites. It's not okay to discriminate against any other. And you can look at, I mean, I'll say white, I'll say male, and I'll say Christian. In our society, those are the three um, segments that it's okay to discriminate against. So I think it just needs to stop. um, yeah, I just think we need to. Yes, God bless you too, Sandra Ann. Again, just drop all the silliness and just pay attention to the people. Yes, Red Pill, we were just talking about that. We were talking about the fact that Trump is going to make the announcement tomorrow at 9 Eastern to confirm that, but that is what is being said. Okay, so any other thoughts on racism? And actually, I should just do this in case anybody, if anybody wants to jump in and chat, feel free. Y'all know I do better with somebody to bounce ideas off of anyway. Yeah, so feel free to jump in. Feel free to make your comments about how you see racism today in our culture. Red Pill, sorry you didn't get the opportunity as well. Hello, James. Oh, you know what? I realized again, I am not plugged into my actual laptop. I'm plugged into my phone. So I don't know if that is going to.
That might help.
All right, let's see. Here we go. And anybody, we can have up to 6 people on this. So anybody else is able to jump in as well.
Creepy number.
Boss? What?
6. Creepy
Yes.
number.
Yes. Do you have thoughts on racism, James?
I'm not for it.
Well, that's good, because if you'd come on and said that you were, I would be like, okay, commercial break, anyone?
No, I had somebody going through my Facebook today, and I once shaved my head.
Oh no.
And they were like, "Oh, you just instantly went to like a neo-Nazi," and I was like, no. But joked about tattooing a iron cross underneath my hair.
Or not.
I know, but it's just because of what the Katie Hall thing, I think it is.
Explain that to me, please.
Did you not hear about the? I think it's Katie Hall. Is that right? Anybody? I can't see the chat. It's a politician, a blonde guy or blonde gal, and she took some photos of her like nude. Like one is like her combing some other girl's hair, and then there's another one of her like being photographed with a bong, naked, and she had an iron cross tattoo down near her haha.
Okay, where are we going with this? No, I had not heard that. No.
Oh, really? Yeah, no, I've heard them on several channels. Yeah. Well, I mean, if I have to, I can go look it up, but
No,
I
that's okay.
I want to say Katie Hall. I don't know if that's right.
Okay. I didn't hear.
Gotta know. Somebody in the chat's gotta know.
Okay, hold on. Bill is saying normally this woman would get my vote, except she's a Trump hater.
What's up, Red Pill Marine?
Are
Nice to
you
meet you, bud.
talking about the one with the pictures, Bill? Yeah,
No, I mean,
I'm maybe a little bit with Red Pill Marine. He does that. Okay, actually, let me jump back here. Robert Nozawa, growing up here, we could call each other names and just laugh about it, or beef it out and laugh about it. Okay, so that's a good point, James. Okay, so I was just reading Robert Nozawa's comment, and that's a good point too, is that he's saying growing up here, we could call each other names and just laugh about it, or beef it out and laugh about it. You know, and that's the thing, is that we have lost our sense of humor, right? We've gotten so sensitive and so touchy. We just want to be offended. It's like we want to be offended at something, right?
it's killed comedy.
Right.
It's killed comedy because people are too afraid to be, you know, anti-PC, you know?
Right.
And that's what comedy was for so long. It was just, you know, literally roasts. That's what it's about, is ripping on somebody. And
right.
race is a big one. You know, there's
Right.
big differences between, you know, white and black people, and it's just that's what it is.
Well,
But when it comes down to it, I mean, we're all the same. It's just there's also this pressure and the stereotypes that they push on us. And you know, when you've seen black people out here, try hard black people, like they want to be like gangsters, you know, but they don't know how to be because there's a lot of white people out here or Asians. So
yeah.
they're very, very few and far between, and then they feel like they have to do this gangster rap stereotype.
You know, it's interesting because Brandon Tatum talks about that. I don't know if you follow Brandon Tatum at all, but he's
good.
I like him, and he has one of the best explanations about kind of racism and how he ended up kind of switching sides a little bit. He has a video that I've saved. It's really good, but he just gets on and he tells his story, and part of it is that growing up, it was the expectation.
Yeah.
What was that?
We jinxed the expectation.
Yeah, it was the expectation of what he, as a young black man, was supposed to do, and what he was, the things he was supposed to get into, and all of that. And then he realized, well, wait a minute, no, actually, this is dumb. I don't have to do these things. So, and he realized some lies that were in that as well, right? And that's, it kind of goes back to what I was talking about the other night about feminism. It's, the feminist movement lies to women. And in this case, unfortunately, there are so many lies that are told to, young Black men and women.
And a lot of it, I think, is to create racial division.
Yeah, I believe so too, that it is truly
Black Lives Matter movement, racial division.
right. And that's what I'm saying is that we need to, and I guess I've been on this kick for several videos, right? But we need to stop segmenting and dividing into so many little pieces, you know, with the, and I'm kind of referencing chat a little bit, but you know, Joe Mama says, not only comedy though, you can't say anything without someone being offended. Red Pill Marine is saying, if people are offended by racism ribbing, then they better stay the heck out of the Marine Corps. I PG'd that for you, Red Pill, just because I can't. I don't go there. So. What's that?
I said, sounds like my kind of place then.
All right. And he's saying, I can't stand when there's a white person with one or more Black people that never fails. They start trying to talk and act like them, just want to punch them in the throat. Okay,
right.
well,
Right.
well,
no, they try and outdo each other on how Black they are or something. Are you serious?
Well,
like,
but you hear people
that's like pushed upon them, you know.
Well, and you hear from people. Well, and that's the thing, right? You hear from Black men and women. You hear from gays, right? If they are conservative, then they're not gay enough, or that they've deserted.
No, I'm seeing a lot of people.
Well, you have the walkaway movement, as far as with.
That's not just Black people, though. I mean,
right.
when you're talking about this walkaway movement, there's a lot of gay, homosexual people that they're coming over either the Republican side or the Trump side. I'm not sure.
Right.
But you see it in Portland. The gal running against the current mayor in Portland, her like buddy that's always there is a gay guy with like long hair or whatever, kind of soft, chubby guy. But they do protests with megaphones out in front of the Portland mayor's house. And he used to be Antifa until they turned on him.
Because he decided to think for himself.
Yeah. One thing he said, they turned on him, and you know, they're eating themselves alive. Democratic Party. Bill, you should hop on. I know he's got something to say.
I think he's saving it for his show later, but yeah, no, I mean, and that's the problem with all of this, you know, the jokes. I mean, you should be able to make fun of a PMSing woman. You should be able to, without having to worry about whether it's a woman or a trans man or whatever. You know, you should be able to make fun of a. I'm going to go there. You're not going to go there. I'm going to go there. You know, but you should be able to make fun of.
I'm definitely not going there.
You know, of, I don't know. I mean, I'll be the first one to say that, you know, I hate working with pregnant women because they're absolutely crazy. And I've been one multiple times. So, you know, it's not, although I was never crazy, right? It's just everyone else around me. It's never me when I'm hormonal. It's everyone else around me. You know, but that's the thing, is it is that we should be able to do these things. And again, not, you know, it's not about a hate. And it's really about us not being so sensitive and being able to think for ourselves, you know, back to the walkaway movement, or you know, Brandon Tatum and Candace Owens talk about this. You've got
well, isn't the leader, I think the guy who started walkaway movement is a gay hairdresser from New York.
Right. I think so. And it's that idea you hear from all of these people
My
saying, hey, when I started to have my own thoughts, then excuse me, then I was then everybody turned on me because I wasn't black
Right.
enough, or I wasn't gay enough, or I wasn't, whatever you're supposed to be that fits into that that liberal or progressive, box.
I watched Liberty Hangouts, Caitlin Bennett.
Okay, I have not seen that one. I don't
Familiar?
follow. Mm-mm.
You know who Caitlin Bennett is?
No, sir.
Uh, she's the Kent State gun girl. She wore like an AR-15 on her back um, into, I think it was the graduation.
Oh,
So
wow.
she had a graduation gown on with an AR-15 over her back, walking towards the entrance with the big sign, and somebody took a classic picture. And she's forever known as the Kent State gun girl. But she's totally, gun rights and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
And but she does these street interviews. She has her own channel, but it's under Infowars.
Okay.
So sometimes she's a little pushy, but
Mm-hmm.
she's getting the point across. It's not like Laura
Right.
Loomer pushy crazy.
Yeah.
It's not that bad, but um, no, it's good stuff. And shoot, something about her last video. What were we talking about before that?
Just being accused of not being either black enough or gay enough or whatever because they've
Oh yeah.
turned
Okay.
their backs on.
Yeah, no, she was at an event where it was, liberals and patriots basically, and this one lady had this sign. She was like, um, LGBTQ friendly, this and that friendly, like everything liberal except for at the bottom, pro-life. And she was like, oh wow, I need to talk to her. And so yeah, it was interesting how firm she was on it. She actually had a little 22-week-old size fetus in her hand, like a doll, rubber doll.
Mm-hmm.
But an example of this is the ideal time where they like to harvest the organs.
Oh.
This is the ideal time that they like to do an abortion. And I think from 22 to 24 weeks, 24 weeks is like, I think she was saying was the like questionable as far as whether it's legal as far as a child or not in most cases or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess for 22 weeks is what I kind of took from what she was saying. So that's something to be looked into. But the fact that she was pro-life
Mm-hmm.
and all those other things. So yeah, Caitlin had some questions. It's worth checking out. It's Liberty Hangouts if you want to look at that.
Okay, I'm gonna write that down because I won't remember.
But
It's funny because
content, mostly short videos, and oftentimes she's trying to trigger liberals. So,
yeah.
Fun to watch. I like those. Adds comedic value.
Hang on just a second. I have to wait
Yeah.
for her to contact me. Oh, I know what you're saying. Okay, yeah, I'll take care of it. I'm sorry. I'm trying to read sign language across the room, and I wasn't doing very well. So, okay, so hang on. Let me catch up with chat again. Oh my goodness. Okay, so Red. Bill said white people like him walked away from the Dems when Trump ran. So there is that group as well. Red Plum Marine said, "Sorry, Mel, I'm an E. I don't know what an E is, but that's okay. I just didn't want you to be offended that I just didn't want you to be offended that I had changed your verbiage, and it's just because I'm maybe not an E. I don't know what an E is. Okay, so
Laura,
Bill, I'm just catching up on chat. Pennsylvania Prepper said, "I neither care what color people are nor who they sleep with. Just don't force your agenda on others. An exception to the rule. Hard to get used to me. I'm really not an Adam Henry." And that's okay. I don't think you are a red pill. Oh, Pennsylvania Prepper. Well, men making fun of PMSing women can be very inappropriate. I actually don't care a whole lot. Because if I truly am PMSing, I'll just punch him in the throat, and it makes me feel so much better. So it's really okay.
Missed.
All right.
Wait,
Okay.
not the resistance. It's the
Red Pill Marine says, "Oh, I do make fun of them. The guys that think they are and look like a woman." Oh yeah.
My camera's
Either like me or okay, when one woman has a valid point and a man attempts to say it's just her PMS, it totally invalidates her point. Again, I don't disagree with that, Pennsylvania Prepper. That again is where a punch to the throat works wonders, and then your point is totally valid, and you move on while they choke. Bill's like, what in the world did I just step into? Red Pill Marine, or the I have a headache, which is really funny because out of all my friends, I have never known a friend of mine or myself to do the whole I've had a headache thing. That's one of those stereotypes that I think is just really weird too. We could talk about sex, but then I think I'd freak you guys out. Because that's not what this channel is about. Okay, sorry. Two graduations.
Hey,
I'm having apple pie.
Okay.
I love that image.
We had a black person move into our white neighborhood in high school. He moved in the summer, all become very tight friends. Yeah, again, because if you just drop if you just drop the fact that there's color, because really, what does the color do? It does nothing. I mean, it means nothing really. So, okay. Racism works both ways. Absolutely. All right, cool, Red Pill. Okay. Oh no, I'm not going to repeat that, Red Pill. Okay, so Bill, you have joined us. I have a student in my class that literally every time I call on him, he's eating. And half the time, it's funny because he will he'll want to say something, and then he will stick something in his mouth. And because he has raised his hand or because he has tried to say something, I'll turn to him and I'll call on him, and he'll be like, and then he's doing this thing because he doesn't want to be rude, right? And speak with his mouth full. So it's become this huge joke every time, and we just laugh at him. So, Bill, how you doing?
You just call him Chipmunk. KK would like that.
Yes. Bill, can you hear me?
Yeah, I think I can. I had to take my earphones out. Can you hear me?
I can. And you're not echoing and I'm not echoing. It's a wonderful thing.
Nobody's echoing. That's good.
I know, right?
Yeah. What was your question?
Well, I mean, we started at racism and we have bounced all over the place. So anything you want to add into this, is fine because we've just bounced all over. So really quick, while you're thinking about that, I will just tell Red Pill Marine, I I teach once a week. I teach 6 different subjects, 7 really, to a group of 9th graders ish. So it's fun. It's a small group. I threaten them on a regular basis. Okay, so we do Latin. I'll just tell this really quick while you're warming up, Bill. We do Latin, and one of my favorite things to do is to introduce them to the word. So fenestra in Latin is window, and our English word defenestration is a derivative of fenestra, and defenestration is the act of throwing someone or something out the window. And so, yes, so it's one of my favorite words ever. And I get to teach my kids about that, and I get to integrate that, and then I get to threaten them with defenestration like all year long. It's awesome. I mean, we're only on the first floor, but still, the point is there. I don't teach in a regular school, so that's why I can do what I do.
My God.
Every grade.
Their parents are normally there, and they're usually like, patting me on the back, going, "Yeah, go."
Yeah, for sure.
'Cause I don't want
Well,
to.
You're living the best life your kids can have, so they'll appreciate it someday. That'll be great.
Hey,
Is
Mel.
James back in the call?
Yes, James is back, and yes, Bill. What's your name, James?
Thanks.
I tried to call you my own name, so
Yeah, so that's pretty bad.
What name would that be?
I called him Mel
Oh,
and Bill.
so there's that.
Did we have an echo when I was just on the phone with you?
Mm-mm,
No,
not with me.
Okay. Okay, good, because I'm on speaker, so it's not me.
We're all on speaker, or I am.
Well, I've been on speaker, so I just wanted to make sure it wasn't me.
no, it was just because the other night when Bill and I tried this, we had issues
Yeah, it was
for
bad.
whatever reason. Yeah, something was going wrong. So,
Okay, just
but
making
it's
sure I'm
working
not with
wonderfully
you.
tonight. So,
So Mel fired the sound guy, and tonight she got it right.
that's
No,
right.
she's
That's
self-
exactly
It
right.
was a good hire.
She's self-producing tonight
Nice
because
work.
it's working, right?
What was that, James?
I said you're self-producing tonight because it's working, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. I get all the credit for this.
Duly noted.
Bill does the same thing, but he just doesn't look up at the chat often.
That's true.
And
That's
that
true.
works. I mean, he watched me get lost last night because I was looking at the chat and I was forgetting what I was talking about. So
In
he
my
made his
defense,
point.
in my
He wins.
defense, I'm a caveman.
You. That's funny.
Okay, so Bill, go ahead. Your thoughts on any of the stuff we've been talking about?
That's your lead, Bill. Go.
Pretty much. That's my
Go.
smooth transition. Did you feel that smooth transition? Just like seamless, right?
I did, and I
Racism.
don't really know. I don't know how much I have to give. I don't know what I really want to say. Are you guys watching the news? Are you subscribing to Trump on Twitter? Do you pay attention to any of this? Do you see the drops that are coming? Do you watch the interviews, like when James Clapper interviews with Anderson Cooper and absolutely chatters his teeth out of his face because he is in complete paranoia. Paranoia. That's the word. He's in complete paranoia. And
himself.
These things are echoing through the deep state ranks. These people are in utter panic. And I hate to keep repeating the same thing, but it doesn't matter. It's like each day that goes by, the more panic is there. Do you guys see it? I'm just curious.
Patriots are now in
Yes.
control.
Yeah. Well, I think some of that is evident in just the fact that they are reaching so much. And the minute something doesn't work, they hop onto something else. The minute that doesn't work, they're finding something else because they are just, I think at this point, they're just clawing.
It sure feels that way, right? I mean, you're seeing it.
Yep.
I think they're on their 6th way from Sunday to get back at somebody.
Oh,
And
I
now
like
they-
that reference, James. I do. Chuck Schumer talking about the 6 different ways from Sunday to get back
Oh,
at
yeah.
somebody on their bad side. That is a great pull, James. Go on.
Yeah, I think they're on their 6th wave or way
Right.
right now, and it's time for Death Blossom, and that's pretty much what it is a Death Blossom, right? Bill knows.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm also typing. I kind of expected Bill to pipe in, and he just
Yeah, I'm gonna pipe in. I think James perfectly paints the narrative of what's going on. I think that people are now officially over the 50% mark of being awake. People are awake and people are talking now a little bit more within their families. Maybe not your family. And in a lot of circumstances, not my family, but there are pockets within my family that even I can have this discussion. We can start saying, okay, let's open this up and talk about it just a little bit without me being a MAGA hat wearing, cram it down your cram hole kind of overabundant a-hole. We can have a discussion
Mhm.
because really all I want is for people to wake up. I just want them to wake up. So I'm not all that interested in like winning on that circumstance. I don't have to beat you into the ground with the things that I feel like I know that are the truth. I would rather open your eyes with maybe some decent questions that
Right.
would just kind of lead you to the right direction. So
Well, and that's so perfect. That's so perfect, Bill, because that is, when we say things like, and we have to stop a second and see James's, um, it's, what is it called?
See how
Print.
awesome this
His
is?
print. It's Trump
it
on a
looks like a
chessboard.
chessboard.
It's
Yeah,
Trump
that's
on
Trump.
the chessboard.
Let me see that one more time.
You
Sorry.
got to get closer, James. Closer, 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 James.
All the details. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I see it. That's a Trump chessboard picture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Trump on a chessboard. It's called
Oh, I see him. I see him now. Yeah,
the Chess Master.
I
Moves
see
and
him now.
moves
That's very iconic, dude. That looks
It's-
awesome.
10 steps ahead.
Yeah, at least. At least.
And it's actually autographed
By
by Mad Dog, the
not
artist.
by Trump.
No. But on the General Flynn auction, they're actually so Mad Dog's making the prints and then
Oh, really?
sending them to General Flynn. He's autographing them and then sending them out.
How cool is that? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if
Just my loose tongue. I'm sorry. That's very cool.
No, that
Yeah.
was fine.
also they're one of a kind. But last time they did an auction, $35,000 towards the General Flynn Defense Fund,
Wow.
and another 20,000 the other day, and then we're doing another auction on the 14th of November. So
I see.
Yeah.
Well, very cool. What an awesome thing to get behind is the defense fund of General Michael Flynn. What
He
a
needs-
beautiful thing to get behind.
he's the perfect example. If they get away with doing it to him, they can do it to anybody.
Yeah, for sure. But
Yeah.
his attorney, Sidney Powell, isn't going to let that happen.
She's
This woman is fierce.
represented countries.
Yeah.
She's no joke.
No, she's not a joke.
Not cheap either.
No, actually, James, she's pro bono on the Mike Flynn case. She took it for no
Yeah.
money. But you're right. As far
Not
as
all of it,
attorneys
no.
go, she's not cheap.
No,
But she took the whole case pro bono.
bono. It's not all pro bono. It's not. In fact, I think she might be on the next auction there. General Flynn was actually in the chat when we did the first auction. His sisters and brothers were all there. Man, it was pretty cool. You
I
guys
could be
can-
wrong about that, so that's cool. I could be wrong about that. I thought initially I heard she took the whole case pro bono, but either way, what a great cause, right?
Yeah. and it's pivotal. I mean, we know Lisa Page, messed with the 302s, just like Mel was saying earlier. They won't release them. There was a switch up done during the case, so Flynn basically pleaded guilty, I think, to save his son, and they switched up. They pulled people out and moved some chess pieces around, and now they're kind of stuck. So now they can't release those 302s without proving that the whole thing is a sham. And
Well, the reality is, you're right. You're right with the 302s is that they can't release them, but the unfortunate part for them is that they're already been released, and they already show a very clear definition between February 10th and February 11th when these were recorded on the 302s. And
is
there's
that what you're talking about lately?
that's talking about when the 302, that's what's coming down right now, is that they're talking about Lisa Page manipulating and adding an addendum, if you will, but not calling it an addendum. She actually rewrote the 302 from the course of one day into the very next day. And
Right.
the trail is there. So it's exposed. It's exposed for those that want to see it, because it's not even like something that you have to wrap your mind around. It's like, okay, one day it was this, the very next day it was this.
Yeah.
So that it's all unraveling very quickly. These types of things, these types of mistakes, these things are happening right in real time. It's happening so fast that the mainstream media really can't keep up with their mistakes. They'll never go back and report a redaction to a story. They don't care. Their sole purpose, as was eloquently shown by Project Veritas when he went under the scenes with CNN, even the president, Zucker, their sole purpose is for impeachment. That's the only play that they have, and that's the only play that they're going to play. And they have put it out there. Now, what's great is that the American people as a whole are wide awake. They really are. These are things that are happening within companies, in business atmospheres, where people are talking about this kind of stuff around the water cooler.
Thousands
They're getting together.
down.
And people are waking up big time, like where it matters, in the trenches.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful.
I've been planting seeds for a long time, but for it to all trickle down to the bottom denominator, I mean, you really do have to have this brainwashing stopped by your MSM. And they're slowly starting to come around so they don't look like freaking idiots.
There's no avoiding that at this point, but you're right. They're trying to minimize the damage for sure. These people are complete jokes.
One of the
cleanup crew on aisle 9, Robert Mueller.
Aisle 9 through aisle 14. It's a mess.
Yeah.
One of the oddities that that article was talking about, and I was looking for it to see if I could get the exact wording, and I couldn't find it while I was looking, but they talk about how there was something written across the top of the 302 that they said was an oddity, because what it did was it allowed for interpretation in the future. And because that's not what it's supposed to be, it's supposed to be a record and an accounting of what actually happened, of course, in the agent's words.
You're right, Mel. You're right. That's exactly what it was supposed to be. And the top of the 302s are stamp verified. It's a verified piece of information that the person that's submitting. I'm sorry, I'm getting that confused with FISA warrants. Go on. You're right, though.
No, it's
302.
It's very similar to what's going on throughout the Democratic Party and the way they're approaching everything legally. They're throwing protocol out the window.
That's for sure.
They are absolutely just pushing past. I mean, they won't do a vote in the House for the impeachment because You know, they just keep pushing this thing, and there's nothing to it because they're not even voting on it. It's ridiculous. It's just trying to influence the narrative to the masses. And
And they
I'm
know
s-
exactly what they're doing. Would
yeah, I'm
you
sick
agree?
of it. You know, good for every Republican that stormed the skiff the other night.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, I mean, we have to be more aggressive. You know, for so long the Republicans have been very passive, and you
Right.
know we've been going by our own moral laws and whatnot, trying to follow the legal laws, yet wanting to work with the other side. But the other side is not willing to work on their side with us.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is that what, like you said, we've been trying to be above board, right? And
They don't care
we've
about that.
almost kind of rolled our eyes like, oh, they're doing this underhanded stuff again, but we haven't really said anything about it. And to be able to call it, to call it out, to be able to call out the fact that, isn't it odd that every time they want to do something, they just change the house rules so that they can do it? I mean, like,
Mhm.
are we questioning that at all? Um, so it's everything that they're doing, and to be able to call that out, to be able, but like you said, James, they are, um, they are. Um, I absolutely think it's so that they can um, set the narrative, right? So that they can frame the narrative, so that they can get out what they want to get out, so that they can just, um, limit what the American people are hearing. And I said this the other night on my video that I really believe it's because they don't believe that they can win on this,
Right.
but they want to do enough damage so that hopefully they can win in the polls in 2020. That's what I
Right.
believe. Anyway,
Hey, Bill, you know the song Animal by Def Leppard? And at the end, they've got that audio of Reagan. He's like, they expected America to be passive.
Yeah. Yeah. I know the song. I know the song.
Wrong,
Sure.
but like basically that's like the Republicans right now. It's like, but we are the silent majority. We do have the guns, but we gotta stand up. I mean, we don't need to wait around till we need guns to grow a backbone.
I think a lot of things have been put in perspective by very intelligent people like Donald Trump, and like people that wrote the book The Art of the War, like Shinzu. And that there are certain absolutes that you take out of these types of books, and you apply them into your life. Now, I'm as guilty as anybody of not doing it like in a great capacity, but I'm learning about it the same as you. Is that Trump has done this. He
Oh,
knows for every action there's a reaction. He knows that if he pushes one way, he will get a reaction the other way. And that's the beautiful part of this entire plan, is that they have chosen not to go on the offensive only recently by going down and trying to interrupt the skiff with Adam Schiff. I mean, but that had to be done. The reality is that they are allowing
shift skiff. Sorry.
they're allowing the Democrats to destroy themselves without really having to interject anything. Their primordial goal is to take Trump out, and he just continues to just play defense. He backs up. He lets them expose themselves. When the point that all of this is done, people won't have a argument against President Trump, because it
No.
will effectively be the deep state that has put themselves completely in the position they're going to be, which is in a lot of cases be hanging from a rope.
Hopefully, when this all pans out, he's gonna look like gold. And you know what? He absolutely does. I would say he absolutely does have a good sense of Sun Tzu. To be 40 chess master, to name, okay, you got Sun Tzu, the art of war, and then he's got the art of the deal.
right. That was purposefully.
Yeah.
Right.
for sure. Yeah.
Red
Yeah.
Pill Marine said Pelosi and Schiff have gone rogue. Not a hair will be touched on 45's head. That's a direct Q quote, right? Red Pill. Isn't that what?
I don't recall that one.
I don't think it's a
No?
direct quote,
No.
but I think
Okay, maybe it's a reference to because
what it sums up is it says that the Patriots are in total control and we have it all. And that there are moves and counter moves and there are moves and there are countermeasures. I mean,
well, and
go ahead.
I'm sorry, I was just going to say because didn't Q say something about him being protected? He is protected.
Oh yeah.
He's insulated by the Marine Corps.
Insulated.
No.
Okay, I'm sorry,
Fully
Bill. I did not mean to cut you off.
Whatever it was.
No, you didn't cut me off. You're good. He's
Now, the other-
insulated. 100%.
Go ahead.
He's insulated 100% by the U.S. Marine Corps, and that's in a lot of ways why Red Pill and myself can jump behind it, because we know that the code is a code of loyalty, honor,
Hmm.
courage, all of that, and Trump took and put the one part of the military. Now they're all fantastic. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But he insulated himself with the Marines.
Well, he has direct authority over the Marines.
He does.
He can move them around, use them how he wishes.
And those Marines will do anything he asks.
Right. Loyal to the core. It makes me want to get one of those shirts, the Q shirts with the snake. The don't tread on me.
You should just get one, dude. You just get one.
Yeah.
Manifest. Wear one. It'd be awesome.
Well, I've got the Punisher with the Trump hair on it.
Thank
Oh,
you.
that's a good one
Thank
too.
you,
Yeah.
Pennsylvania Prepper. Good night. Thank you for coming.
Night, Pennsylvania Prepper.
Yeah, for sure. Pennsylvania Prepper. It's good.
I've been to
seeing you.
3 River Stadium. I don't know where you're at, but
Hopping again.
before they tore it down.
But I don't know if you got anything for me. I'm gonna wrap up and jump out. I don't know. I might go on later.
Okay. No, that's totally cool.
So the one thing I wanted to say,
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
far as like Trump, Art of War, Art of the Deal, there's another Asian author, Miyamoto Musashi, who wrote the Book of Five Rings. Very similar to the Art of War in a way. And people have taken that book as well and applied the Book of Five Rings to business and other things. Other, I'm not sure if you've ever checked that out, but
I've actually never heard of it, but that's
Nope,
okay.
neither.
There's lots of fantastic books and things that people like find on their journeys that I haven't heard of. So if you recommend it, I guarantee it's probably pretty damn enlightening and good. So I haven't seen it, but I think
I've
it's
got
probably
the
decent.
Book of Five Rings version, but it like they apply it to business and other fields, relevant
For
fields.
sure. A lot of these things have a lot of stuff in common. I mean, a lot of the successes or keys to success that happen, they happen in many cultures. There's certain absolutes that have to happen for you to reach success, And so there's probably a lot of this stuff that is shared. And I don't know. I'd be interested in like learning more about that guy.
Sure, and it's an Asian perspective. I mean, it's definitely a more of a militant, martial art mindset in this thing, and then taken over to other fields. You know what I mean? About it's
Interesting. Yeah,
it's
interesting.
not always necessarily fair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's about winning, and we always got to be wise about this sort of thing. It's great to have tools, but you don't always necessarily want to use them because you're taking advantage of somebody at some point. You're finding their weakness and you don't always, like say you're good at business or something and you're taking advantage of people, you're making millions. Okay, so Bill Gates, really, how much more money do you need to take from people? Because now that you have so much, so many other people don't have it now. You know, and you could charge less for your iPods or your iPhones, but you're not. You're just taking money from people who need it.
For sure.
So, I mean, at what expense is it for you to have more money? You know what I mean? Unless you're just this brilliant philanthropist and you want to give it all back. So I'd love to see everybody successful. I'd love to see the United States and all of its people get its wealth back from the decline of the dollar. I know you agree, Bill. You've got all this investment, so.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'll wrap it up on that. And gold and silver is good. God's good. Ultimately over gold and silver.
Yeah, these are simply hedges of protection
Yeah,
within the
we
global fiat system we're in.
So
And
Bill,
prepping. Sorry.
well, and it's always good to be prepared for things, right? Because whether it's something politically motivated or whether it's, just a natural disaster or whether it's, I don't know, the power being turned off for whatever reason.
Electricity.
What was that?
It's only power if you give it to them.
Yeah, right.
It's
Right.
electricity, energy,
Right.
not power.
Yes, that's true. Okay, so really quickly, Bill, Red Pill wants to know if you have gotten your Where We Go One, We Go All tattoo yet. Maybe that's the tattoo he's going to get on his head.
On my head.
Because we were talking about that earlier. And then let me see. Red Pill says, Robert, I for whatever reason, I'm not going to repeat that. Not that it's a bad thing, just it might sound bad. Red Pill Marine said, winning in war or a fight is never fair. That's part of the game. Red Pill said, once again, Bill isn't reading the chat. Shocker. But anyway, yeah, no. Well, and Red Pill, you make a good point, right? That's the thing, is that when, if Trump does end up going in militarily anywhere, he's going to go in and he's going to go in to win. We're not going to sit there and waste time. It's going to be decisive, and he's going to make it happen. So, anyway,
it's a game until somebody's life and livelihood's at stake, I think. But
what's a game? I'm sorry.
Winning.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I got sidetracked by Joe Mama's. Joe Mama's thinking that Bill's gonna get a tramp stamp.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Bill.
I'm sorry, Bill.
Joe Mama's fault. It was totally Joe Mama's fault. She said it.
You repeated it.
Maybe I already have them.
Is this where I bat my eyes?
I mean, unless Bill needs a safe space, then we need to reevaluate that comment.
Oh my gosh.
Love you, Bill.
Red Pill said, yes, we love you, Bill. He's like, yeah, I don't like you guys so much right now.
No, you guys are good. You're good.
Oh my gosh.
By the way, I got my 1 ounce coin ring back from Ben Zemeckis,
Oh, nice.
the Nexium whistleblower guy in Seattle.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
What do you mean you got it back? Tell me that story again.
I met up with him because he was making coin rings, and I was like, "Dude, that's awesome! Like, I want to
Ben
get some."
Zemeckis.
And yeah, he went to a Nexium mixer with his girlfriend at the time.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, he was on a bunch of channels, but and then did a lie detector test to prove that he was legit.
What a guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you don't want to be called out as like some liar, you know.
Well, no, not when you're like doing all that shit, right? So he had your ring?
No, I gave him a coin to make into
Oh.
a 1 ounce coin.
And he gave it to you back.
Yeah, I mean, he cut out the center, and like I gave him a whole bag full of like foreign coins to make into rings too.
Very cool.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, yeah, this is the only one I really want." I was like, "You got it, bro." And I picked a few out of the bag. I was like, "Hey, I could sell these to a couple people or something, you know."
Yeah, for sure. Love it.
Uh,
What a great dude, right?
no, he was excited. He wants to meet up and hang out again. Um, so yeah, it's a cool day.
That's cool, man. You're flirting with the movie stars.
No. Um,
Hopefully
I
not.
mean, except you, Bill. Yo.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm that elusive jewel in Michigan. The movie star from Michigan. That's me.
Broke the mold with you, bro. Yo.
Yeah, you
Yo.
doing your De Niro? Yo.
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 Yeah, screw that
Yo.
dwarf. He's not a fan. He wouldn't be a fan of me.
You guys
I
can
probably want to push the guy over. He's so small. Like,
I know. He's a tiny little guy. Hey, I'm gonna wrap up. I still want to do a live show tonight, so I'm gonna wrap up and jump off. Is that cool?
Yes, I'm
everybody,
going to.
everybody jump over to Bill's show.
Yes,
Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna need like 20 minutes though. I gotta recalibrate after all this.
that's fine. I'm actually going to finish up with a reading from. I'm going to read part of the Declaration of Independence.
All right. Well, I love that idea. Thank you for inviting me on, and I appreciate being here. And I care about all of you very much. And now you know this.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Bill. And I'm so glad the audio worked this time.
It did. It was great. I'll see you guys soon.
All right, sounds good.
All right, see you soon,
See you.
bro.
All right, man. See you.
Okay, yeah, and Robert, and I totally did not mean to like put you on the spot like that. I know you didn't mean it that way. Okay, so I just wanted to, I figure since I, so much of what I talk about and so much of what I want to focus on is, and really, again, one of the reasons why I like Trump, the way, why I do. I'm sorry, I got distracted. One of the reasons why I like Trump is because I believe that he is. Thank you, Red Pill. I believe that he is. That he understands the founding of our country, and he understands what we're supposed to be. And so, so I thought, with that, and with my class, we are reading the original documents this year. And so I thought, we should all be reading the original documents. So I'm not going to read the entire Declaration of Independence, but just a little portion of it. Okay, so it says, when in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly, all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries or usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. That's pretty much the first couple of paragraphs of sorry, were y'all able to hear that? Sorry, I didn't look up until now, but I don't know, it's just so beautiful. It's so beautiful. One, these that are unalienable rights are given to us by our Creator, right? That it's not the government that gives it to us, that gives them to us. And that life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, too many people nowadays assume happiness, right? They expect it. They believe that that they are owed it. And that's not what our country was built on. It was built on the ability to pursue happiness. And you can even ask yourself whether God's desire is for us to be happy. Is that the ultimate goal? But anyway, that's a whole different question. It is the right of the people to alter or abolish that government. I don't know. It's beautiful. So, right. I mean, and the thing is that if you pay attention to history, even when we created, even when we separated from England, that didn't solve all of our problems. Just because you created a new government, there were still revolts that happened within the colonies because of things that had happened within the states, because of taxes and things like that as well. So I don't know, it's that beautiful reminder that the government is not this big separate entity, but that government funds, those are our funds, right? That the power that the government has is the power that we afford those officials, that we afford the people that we put there. And it's important we'll talk on another show just about the idea of why politics, why is this something that we should pay attention to, or why not? So, yeah, America in a pot of water about to boil. We have been mostly lied to our entire lives. Government is not Big Daddy. God is. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. And I talked about this on an earlier stream, just that idea that instead of family taking care of one another, we've turned to government. Instead of the church, taking care of the widows and orphans, we've turned to government. And we forget what government is. And so I think, again, just making sure that we know what our founding documents say, making sure that we understand what our rights are supposed to be, making sure that we know when those are being violated, when those are being usurped, and when we need to say no, because we have allowed too much, and we have, in some cases, we've kind of become lazy and entitled and desired that the government take care of us. The government, meaning all the new people pay for me to, I don't know, fill in the blank. So anyway, all right. Thank you very much. It's almost an hour and a half. Bill and James, thank you for coming on. I appreciate that. I love the conversation. And I'm looking forward to the Bill Show. So everybody check them out. There are people who view these videos later. So if you have not visited the Bill Show, I have no idea why I'm saying it like that, but you should visit the Bill Show. All right. All right. That's it. I will chat with you there. I love you all. We can rule ourselves under God locally. Stand up, men and women. Yes, James. All right. Love you guys. Good night. See you at Bill's.